Hello Beans fans, and welcome back once again to another episode of Spillin the Beans, a podcast brought to you by now the award-winning Fanzine of the Year, Given Beans. How good does that sound? Obviously, I'm sure everyone who's listened to this knows that on Monday night we went down to the Football Supporters Association Awards and we were nominated for Fanzine of the Year amongst some other glorious publications, and we won it. So we're all very excited, still sort of coming back down to earth. We're going to chat loads about that in that podcast because I was there, Fraser was there, so we're going to introduce a little bit as well. So let's get started and yeah, we'll jump into all of that. Plus the usual stuff, Newport, Wigan, you know the crack.
Meet the gang 'cause the boys are here, the boys to entertain you.
Fraser, you managed to get yourself back in one piece after that trip down to the capital and the wonderful duty of a night?
Just about, yeah. It was, I don't know, like, because I didn't sleep much and then got up and dragged myself out for a lovely breakfast and then back on the train up north and back to work today. And yeah, no, I think I'm just buzzing, just really happy, really pleased. It was a great night out, for us. Yeah. Still feels a bit surreal, to be honest.
Yeah, it certainly does. And also with us, Beans contributor. Couldn't be there the other night, Steve, due to work commitments, but very much in spirit. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely delighted. I'm more in the pink than I was on Monday night. I wasn't too well, but I was reading a book and or eating or drinking something, and great news and fantastic for everybody who's doing it. And you certainly mentioned before the people, I'm sure that, you know, the people that started the fanzine and lots of other people that contribute and the wider support. And so delighted for you guys, delighted for us, delighted for them. And having swatted aside such the cultural behemoths of Man United and Sunderland and people like that, that was particularly satisfying. But also, I've got to say that they seemed very magnanimous on the socials about and pleased. A lot of people genuinely pleased. So I was absolutely delighted, and I appreciated the updates, which got slightly more surreal as the evening went on, of course. And really enjoyed that as well. So yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah, certainly was. And like I say, more on that later on as well. We'll get around to speaking about that in a little bit more detail, some stories from the night. Feels like a while since you had you on the pod, Steve. And I think actually last time when we recorded late, you was wearing some sort of a commode. You're not tonight. A little bit disappointed.
I think you mean kimono. Yeah, that's what you're saying. I remember funneling enough, Jonny. No, you're all right. Thank you. I'm following. I don't want to say following on from that now, but yeah.
Anyway, we don't want to keep you up too late, so let's crack on and let's have a look at the week that was.
That was the week that was. It's over. Let it go.
So before we get to the very exciting stuff of the awards due and the cup tie against Wigan at the weekend, we do have to speak about Newport. We can't gloss over on that one. It feels like a long time ago since we wrestled that point down in South Wales. Steve, kind of get out of a jail point for Wing, or are we all been still a little bit dramatic?
Personally, I think we are being a little bit dramatic. We always seem to be a hair's breadth from triumph or disaster, really. We don't really do treating them the same at Barrow, and I think there are issues that have been there for a while and they're still there. But I'm not entirely sure whether making a change is necessary at all. In terms of the game itself, the first thing to notice is if you look watching back, I mean, that is possibly one of the worst free kick decisions for my 50th year of watching football. and that's probably up there. It's up there with Derek Johnston getting Doug Rougvie sent off in the Scottish League Cup final in the late 70s. So that's as bad as it's that bad. It's in that sort of pantheon of dreadful crap decisions. So,
Steve, I'm going to interrupt there because the only thing, in the interest of balance, it was, and I think everyone agrees, Fraser's not along there, but that penalty decision that I don't think is even considered, but for Newport, where I think it was about 2 penalties where Canavan brought him down the first time, handballs hit him when he on the way down and didn't even get a look in. So, and again, it's the same old story with League Two referees. As much as we might complain, the opposition's going to have something to complain about because the inconsistency of decisions just leaves everybody kind of pulling their hair out, really.
Yeah, but I agree, and we certainly hate all refs, but they, or nearly all of them anyway. But this was particularly inept. I thought. I mean, the fact that he fell over with a good 2 feet away from him was quite, and I mean, he was sort of. The other thing I noticed was I didn't really notice the ridiculous Alice band as well that he had. I mean, as well as sort of pound shot Todd Campbell, sort of falling over. Although he was excellent in the second half because we were clearly mesmerised by his hair. And obviously, I speak as a jealous bald man, but he seemed to have sort of hypnotised us with his hairstyle or something because we never went near him anyway. He seemed to have certainly spooked our central midfield because we never bothered tackling him again for the rest of the game after that, and we lost the second. So he's a good little player, that. Who knows if anybody tries to tackle him, whether he'll be be that good again. We were unconvincing. That you can't fault them for trying. There's something not quite right with the shape and the way we're doing things, and there hasn't been for me most of the season. There's a lack of there's a lack of tempo sometimes. Conor Mahoney, who by the way put in a brilliant cross for the equaliser and has got individual skill by the barrel load. But him and others just seem to check back too much, or they make the wrong decision. Elliot Newby, who's had a good season for me, probably and possibly his best arguably, but equally his decision making is poor, and then they stop and they lose confidence. Then somebody else gets injured, and I think the manager, I think there is something. I think the manager is worried. It's got a bit of imposter syndrome when he's got a job that he's worked really hard for. But if he's not sure immediately, of how to fix these things, so he needs, this is where the whole Rob Kelly thing comes in. And I think that there's something there. I think he says the right things. You can see what he wants. I mean, in the previous game, he booted when Raheem Harper, who was pretty mince actually on Saturday. He seems to be on the slide a bit. When he missed against Cambridge, he nearly took the dugout with a mighty kick in frustration, and I'm not surprised. Some of this is the players. I'm not sure if he's getting exactly what he wants across. But we'll see. I don't think we're near. I don't see having been there in Barrow when we've had to appoint at that period of time, it's not easy at any time, and it's not easy at winter. So I think, and also if they brought McDonald in, why on earth would they do that now? Because that just looks absolutely ridiculous, frankly. If we're going to, unless there's some Machiavellian plot afoot, and I doubt it, because more often than not, football's cock up rather than conspiracy, really. So we'll have to see. In terms of the game, we deserved a point. We did not dominate them, like Andy said, as far as I could see, in the first half. But apart from that, is a point away from home in League Two the worst thing if you're not playing that well? No. So on we go, really.
Yeah, Fraser, I think one thing that was mentioned after the game as well, because what was so obvious at times, I think it was number 44, was it Braybuck?
That's Alice Band lad.
Yeah, the Alice Band lad. He was just running around that midfield like he was Lionel Messi, and we just weren't getting anywhere near him. And that's one thing that's probably most disappointing about this wing side of late. Is one thing I expected from wing as a very kind of Bobby Basic is that we would be kind of tough, hard to break down, difficult to break open, and he just had the freedom of that midfield, which kind of highlights our issues at the moment in terms of players and working together and having that type of synergy. Really, we just seem to be split apart.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the greatest vintage of Barrow squad we've ever had, but I think the one area where we should be strongest is the central midfield positions. You've got like a good 4 or 5 or 6 good players who can play in those 2 sort of central midfield berths, and it's the one area. Yeah, we shouldn't be. I can understand why we have issues scoring goals because we pretty much have Josh Gordon and sort of that's sort of it. But like in there, you've got so many options. I mean, I hope against Wigan, like we see, I don't know, either MJ shifted into midfield, Earring brought in. We see some form of like freshening up in there, just to like that. I can see Harper starting again on Saturday because I think Wing trusts him or for whatever reason. But like it'd be good to see some freshening up in there and get some other players having an opportunity to. Like if things aren't going well, they need to make those changes if the players are available to come in.
Yeah, because one thing that's still unconvincing for me is this defence with Canavan back and Williams alongside and Raglan, especially for that second goal. It's just they both sort of looked at each other as if nobody knew who was picking who up, and it just gave him a chance to kind of turn and get his shot off. But I think there is a discussion. I don't want to kind of step back from the conversations that have obviously been had about the manager and whether changes in order. I know listen to the Barrow Social this week. There's a really good discussion on that. They give that a lot of time. I think there's still more to be seen. I think we've got this fixture against Tranmere, obviously Wigan aside, Gillingham. They're going to be 2 games where we really start to see whether that question needs to be asked. But, you know, I think that leaves plenty of opportunities to dive into that a little bit deeper. But like you say, Fraser, on the whole, you know, and Steve mentioned before, getting that point away from home, avoiding a defeat, still showing that resilience to get back in a game where we didn't really seem to have much command or control has to stand for something, surely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the caveats are there were a lot of players missing, so Shipley and Stanway are missing, who are 2 pretty key players. I think Jackson might have been unwell or injured, and Gordon suspended. And then you have Hemmings, your only fit striker. So we're chasing a game without a recognised striker. I know Newport are a poor side, but there is a new manager there. They changed the style of play quite a lot. They completed more passes than anyone else out of the 90, like most 92 football clubs at the weekend. So they I think we would have been better off playing them with the old manager in for certain. Yeah, there is just like I do feel that perhaps some of the hot takes after the match may have been doubling down on what they thought anyway. Maybe even if we won unconvincingly 1-0, the same things would still be said. I'm not saying there aren't problems, because there is something not quite working the way it should, but for me it's sit on your hands. I don't know, maybe I'm easily pleased, but it's sort of wait until January, get a striker of any description through the door to help us out, and then just give him more time. I just don't think it's panic stations yet, but the next 3 games are like absolutely crucial to what happens going forward.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Steve, before we kind of move on from the misery of the Newport game?
Not really. It's the first one I've missed in a while at Newport, so I was glad I missed it, really. Sad to say.
You hold quite an impressive ping pong record down there, don't you, Steve?
I do indeed. I'm the world champion of being in the pub with folk from Barrow at ping pong, much to the surprise of many young upstarts. So, that was I wouldn't say that was if it was a misspent use, it was a very middle class misspent use of ping pong. You know, it's not exactly it's not exactly the Hustler, is it? But, that's good. That's good about Newport. Pubs are quite nice. Did Courtney Cobain, propose to Courtney Love in Newport? So all those things are quite nice, but yeah, I've been 4 times before, so I didn't need to sample its delight again.
Quite an interesting place. There was some that pub we were in last season was really good. It wasn't a bad day out when we were there. I'm becoming quite fond of South Wales.
I'll go next year if they stay up. Yeah,
it's going to be a task. I mean, to be fair to them and the guys who contributed last week, the 1912 Exiles, really, really top guys, and the way they played on Saturday, certainly with a different tempo, you know, with the new manager, they probably looked at us coming down the form we was in, coming into that match and thought, this is our chance. So they certainly went at it, and if they continue to play like that, they're going to pick up points. So, you know, we might look back on this game a couple of fixtures down the line if Newport go on a bit of a run and go, you know what, that wasn't a bad point. But yeah, certainly at the moment, things are up in the air a little bit, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We get a little bit of a break from that this week. Obviously, we'll come to the Wigan game in a little bit, which is kind of pressure off in many ways. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about Monday night, Fraser, because we made a trip down there. I mean, we mentioned on a podcast 3 or 4 weeks ago that we got shortlisted. You basically enter into the Football Supporters Association Awards for that category. You send them fanzines down, and a panel looks at that. Amongst the other ones, there was Charlton's fanzine there, My Only Desire, I Love Supreme, Sunderland, United We Stand, Blackburn's fanzine, and Bradford's City Gent. So going into it, we kind of thought, you know, maybe we got a chance. We're very proud of the work that we do in the fanzine. There's no reason why we couldn't hold our own against them. And also we were new, you know, and we're the smallest club competing for it as well. So maybe that could put us in a good light. But yeah, when they called our name out, it was just a completely blown away. And because it came around quite quick, didn't it, Fraser Awards? I think was it about 3 or 4 in?
Yeah, it all seemed to happen really, really quickly and in a flash, and all of a sudden we're on the stage, and Henry Winter, who handed us the awards, said, I thought Given Beans was the food menu. And it was, and
is that what you said?
Yeah, because I was first up, so classic Henry Winter.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with Victoria Derbysh, actually. That's who was presenting the whole night from Newsnight. It was actually, she's from Ramsbottom, which is Bury, which is where my mum currently lives. So when I walked up to on stage, I mentioned that, which I was pretty impressed by. But yeah, when Henry Winter got up, I thought, that's pretty cool, actually, that he's up there presenting, because it's a right mixed bunch of people on the stage that night. But we got onto the stage and she put some questions to us, which we've actually got a video of, which we'll share online at some point. And they asked us about the fanzine name. We told a bit of the story behind that. We mentioned there's been a kind of reboot of late. They asked us kind of what that was about, to which your answer, Fraser, went down really well about, you know, that new energy that we put into it, which was complimented by Miguel Delaney, I think, on Twitter today.
Oh, yeah. I hope that was in relation to what I said. It might have been what Punk said about or postcard, or what you said about your favourite Northern Soul song, but you seem to like some aspect of the speech.
Yeah, well, because we did that, the Soul piece recently, which you haven't read, get yourself to the website and read it and buy a t-shirt, a lovely design on there for you to be able to pick up. But she asked what my favourite Northern Soul record was, to which all my favourite records are going through my head, but I didn't want to sound like a bit of a knob. saying something really obscure that nobody's ever heard of, and it just came to me. Of course, it's got to be Chapter 5, the band from Barrow who had a hit record at Wigan Casino. So, yeah, if you've not read that, do head to the website. It tells that whole story about that connection with Wigan and the and that song itself. But yeah, any highlights from tonight's Fraser? You got talking to quite a few people.
Yeah, we'll move on to Drury in a moment, but I want to talk about the lads who did the lads who what was it? I don't know, took apart. Yeah, our catering offer. They didn't really, but they sort of did. But we collared one of them. He won't be listening to this, so I'll just say he was quite a peculiar chap, and he wasn't adhering to the dress code of the event. He was far too casually dressed, and like he was just sort of, I don't know, he's just sort of like grinning inanely whilst we're talking to him, and then said, "Do you want to go and speak to Ellis?" Who's Ellis Platten, who was I think he's a bit more well-known YouTuber guy, and we spoke to him about it, and we got a bit more sense out of him, and he said like I think they really enjoyed the hospitality. I think it's just the sort of the standard of the food, but we will see if we can pass it on to someone in the hospitality to say, look, we've had a word with them. Take no notice.
I actually recorded what he said. I pretty much stuck my phone in front of him and voice recorded it. So I'll try and dig that one a bit, and maybe we'll segue into some hospitality news. Actually, in other business, there's been an announcement that week around that. But yeah, let's come to Peter Drury, because for me, it was just that was one of the highlights of the night, alongside winning the award. So I keep wanting to call him Ian Drury, but he's obviously not a blockhead. He's Peter Drury. And we knew he was nominated for Commentator of the Year, which is obviously really exciting for us. Any non-Barrow fans who are listening to this, Peter Drury basically give us our "they think it's all over" style commentary moment, which has just been legendary amongst the Barrow support ever since we won the FA Trophy in 2010, where Jason Walker picks up the ball, levers it, scores, and Peter Drury's famous line when he did it was "Barrovian Bedlam! The Barrow boy has done it!" So one of our friends who invited along for the night, Seb, of former Mundial fame, also contributed to Given Beans a while back, because he's a Yeovil fan and therefore a massive fan of
Mark Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the other. He's done a love letter to Sam Foley, and he might do his hate letter to Mark Cooper. So maybe we'll publish that. So anyway, he went and found and dug out Peter Drury, and he was so buzzing to see us, and he was saying how it's the highlight of his night that we won the award. He was really rooting for us. He's so fond of Barrow after commentating on that game, and this is the guy who went on to win Commentator of the Year and commentates on pretty much every name in the footballing business, and he was just so pleasant. Anyway, we had to get a little bit of a recording from him, so check this out.
Hi guys, I'm Peter Drury. I'm with the Given Beans crew, and we are having here some Barrovian Bedlam, big time.
So that, I just can't stop listening to that. It's incredible. It's just his voice. It's so the way he says Barrovian Bedlam. And then he went on stage not long after that to pick up the award for Commentator of the Year. And he called us out again, didn't he? He said, he mentioned our names.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Yeah.
The Shrimps Trust were not happy about that.
Yeah. Which again made my night. I think they were sat behind us. What were they up for? Was it non-league award or something?
Supporters initiative or something or other.
Yeah, I think they got about 15 fans together last year or something and tried to save the football club. So
yeah, a final. I just make sure you get like a final word in on Drury. He said like during the FA Trophy final in 2010, I think he said it was his producer. She's from Barrow, and he said that when Walker scored, she was just bursting into tears. I don't know who she is. If anyone's listening knows who she is, or she's listening, it'd be great to sort of, I don't know, hear from you if possible. It sounded like a really great. It's just that proper Barrow. There's always a Barrovian somewhere.
There's got to be an article for the fanzine in there somewhere. So yeah, just to such a legend. I don't use that word much, but he really, really is. But yeah, when he mentioned the name, when he shouted out Barrow when he was on stage, and we're all going, Barrow, Barrow. And I just heard, like, in the corner behind me, someone go, we hate Barrow, we hate Barrow. Like some Shrimps Trust person. I was just like, oh, I have a day off. Anyway, so that was that. So yeah, just overwhelmed as well with the response, everyone online, all of the people congratulating us, all the nice things that are being said, not just within the Barrow fan base, across the whole kind of network of people who, produce kind of fan content or do kind of, supporter-based initiatives and, community driving projects and things like that. So it's just been brilliant. Yeah, so I'm incredibly proud of it. The award was taken back to Barrow by Punks. I think it's going to sit behind the crossbar for a bit. Yeah, so that was that. I don't think we'll ever enter it ever again now. I think that's it. We'll just, a bit like Hugo Egiog's goal for England. One appearance, one win or something.
God rest his soul, Hugo Egiog.
Yeah. Let's move. He certainly was. Let's move on, because we've got, for me, my favourite contribution to our opposition view. Talking of fanzines and the whole network of fanzines that are across the country, which we're very proud to be a part of that community. One of my favourites has always been Wigan's Mudhutter. So we reached out to him in the hope that he would send in a message giving us his preview this weekend, and he has, and it's absolutely brilliant. So get on this, and then we'll chat about looking forward to this Saturday.
Hello. You've reached the offices of Given Beans. All our Beans operatives are busy getting it forward at the moment. Please leave your message after the beep.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. I am Martin Tarbuck. I am the editor of the Mudhutter fanzine. It's a fanzine that's been going, I think, nearly 20 years now. Before that, I was involved with the Cockney Attic, so kind of got roots all the way back to the 80s in the Wigan fanzine scene. And yeah, we are a fanzine. We do a bit of football, but it's also just about Wigan life, music, pies, anything we fancy writing about, basically. We do 4 a year. Last one was out a few weeks ago. If you come in the game on Saturday and you find yourself in some of the brilliant pubs in Wigan, you might find it behind the bar if you want to pick up a coffee. But yeah, so let me talk about Saturday. And the first thing to say is I wish we got you away, but then everyone wants an away tie, don't they? But another little sideline I've got is I've written several books on football, on Wigan, but also on pies. And the pies in Barrow are off the scale. So what a reason to go there. I know all about Greens and McLay's and Thomas's, and there's no doubt a few others. The pie shop in Dalton. It's just the pies are very Lancastrian. Which is what I love. That's what I grew up with in Wigan, and they're very, very working class meat and potato stodge, mainly potato and a bit of seasoning. But anyway, I've only got 5 minutes. I could spend the whole 5 minutes talking about pies, but I won't. So yeah, I do a written fanzine, so I'll be amazed if I manage to do this audio in one take even. There we go, nearly cocked up then. But yeah, Wigan Athletic, where we are. We're kind of, I'd say, sort of semi in the doldrums. We've obviously had ridiculous highs over the last 2 decades, all funded by Dave Whelan. And yeah, it's one of those, if you haven't seen such riches, we could live with being poor. And hence we're in a bit of in limbo a little bit at the minute. So obviously we had a big crash after all our success, nearly went bust twice. And now we're owned by a billionaire, but yeah, he's owning us as a favour, basically, not as a plan to do what you have to do in the League One and the Championship, which is spend hundreds of millions of pounds, because he won't be a billionaire very long if he's in the football game. But I think at least he's a Wiganer. More of a rugby fan than a football fan, but a Wiganer, because obviously since Whelan left, we had 2 foreign owners who talked a good game, kept putting a bit of money in, but because they're not from Wigan, they didn't hesitate to pull the plug and leave us deep in the shit. I hope I can say shit, because to be honest, that's a polite word for what happened to us. And now we're kind of getting rebuilt on a more modest scale. Maloney saved the club, turned it round, worked for nothing with a very young squad. And he's a lovely man, very much in the Martinez mould or the Gary Caldwell mode, a passing possession place. They call it our DNA, but before that, Obviously, Paul Jewell was a great manager for us, and he was a more direct manager. Ryan Lowe is of that similar ilk to Paul Cook, Paul Jewell, where he's a scouser, he's bold, he's brash, he says, get up and at him, very much built around team spirit rather than style of play. So expect a direct game on Saturday. He plays wing backs, likes to get the ball down the wing. You know, it's certainly more attack-based approach, but it's less possession, less time on the ball, a lot more hit and hope. And you know, the defence isn't as strong either because we're focusing on the attack. But we've got some good players. He's been allowed to spend some of the money we made last year by selling Charlie Hughes, Tello Asgard, and yeah, he's got us playing decent football some games. We've had some good results. Other days have been very, very lacklustre, and it just hasn't come together. But every year we have a rebuild. This year's no different. We've got to give him time. He's an established, credible manager. The suggestion is that, you know, Maloney wasn't, which is a shame. You know, just a bit of I think if anything, he's a bit quiet and humble to be a manager, and probably better as a coach. Ryan Lowe talks good game. He also kind of likes to throw a bit of blame around when it doesn't go his way. So we've got to see how that plays out. We're a bit up and down. So yeah, we are mid-table at the minute. Every time we look at like we're doing something, we kind of fall back a bit. But yeah, 1-0 win over Burton midweek, that's put us top half, eyeing up the playoffs. As for Saturday, who knows? You guys will be like Hemel Hempstead, we played in the last round. You'll be buzzing, you'll be up for it, you'll fight hard, you'll play hard. We will need to be on our game to get anything. Obviously, I suppose we are a scalp, as in we won the whole bloody thing 12 years ago, which is amazing. Don't get me started on that, otherwise I'll go on for another 5 minutes. But yeah, we just need to be professional and get through the game. But hopefully you have a great day out. You love Wigan, it's a brilliant town, brilliant pubs, brilliant stadium, albeit it's going to be quite empty. It always fucking is, unfortunately. And yeah, enjoy your day. I'll say we'll win after extra time. There we go. Is that fair enough? Cheers. Have a great time, lads and lasses. Be great to see you in Wigan. Make some noise, I'm sure you will. Enjoy our stadium. Please don't take the piss too much about the emptiness of it. It's just too big for us. You know, 15,000 would have been fine, even 10,000. But it is what it is. You know, it was built with a vision. We achieved that vision, and now we've dwindled back down. It's gone a bit stale, but we still love our club. We turn up in numbers as much as we can. It's just too many people in Wigan support somebody else, basically, being so close to Liverpool and Manchester, so it's a bit of a struggle. But anyway, I'll shut up now because I've already gone over, and yeah, see you Saturday. Have a good day, and yeah, best of luck to you the rest of the season. Cheers, bye.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this one, and I think just going back to what we were saying before about the kind of Newport game, I was trying to get through that section as quickly as possible to talk about the good stuff, the awards, and just to look forward to this weekend, because personally I've always just had like such affection for Wigan and places like that, and to get them in the cup and to be able to have a day out there and, you know, sample all the pubs in the area and get to go to the ground and watch us in a game where I think we can do something. I'm just buzzing for it. It seems like a nice bit of respite, Steve, from what's been the trials of League Two football recently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. We're having a slightly, I guess we're having more of a family version because I'm running one of the trust buses now, and we've got my grandson and Mrs. H as well. So we'll be heading down all together. So I'm looking forward to all that aspect of it. And I think we're all stopping in Chorley, so I don't know at the football club. So I think I don't think I'll be doing the pubs in Wigan, unfortunately. But hopefully I might get a pie. I've something called a Wigan kebab. I'm quite keen to try, which appears to be a pie in a roll, and that's the kind of cholesterol that gets my juices flowing. So, you know, I was pretty excited about that. And it's the cup, and the FA Cup's brilliant in England. It really, really is. I've always enjoyed it. No, I haven't always enjoyed it because sometimes Barrow isn't as enjoyable. But we've got nothing to lose. I just hope we treat it as a nice positive day out and don't worry about whatever's happening in the league. Doesn't matter. Great if we get through because we could do with the coin. not a huge surprise if we don't. And enjoy it. You know, I'm just looking forward to going with my grandson to a bigger ground with a load of Barrow fans, convoy of buses, trains, and all those things. And you never know. He seems a bit. I had a wee look at Ryan Lowe before. I mean, he's a credible manager is a very good way of putting it. That lad knows his football, and it's the only thing that had struck me was it's a bit like Andy Wing would quite like to be. I think in the sense that there's a lot about front-footed football and being your family and things like that, and quite a lot of the kind of things that he would said. But maybe he's just got that a bit more experience. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'll see people I haven't seen for ages, because that's what always happens on cup away days as well. So you'll bump into a million people you don't always see.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of form, it didn't lose across the course of November. I think they're unbeaten in 8 Wigan across all competitions. Wigan back in October, from what I can remember, before Fraser. So they're looking pretty good.
They won 1-0 last night, I think. So they'll be in good spirit. Good spirits. Your man from Radio Manchester, who's on the social, sort of says, well, he might. They've got quite a big squad, and Lowe might make changes for this one. There's some decent. I mean, Sam Tickle in goal, brilliant name that is. He's highly thought of. He was like when I saw them play under Maloney, he looked really good. A goalkeeper, very adept with playing with his feet out in the back. There's Jamie Carragher's son, James Carragher. I think it's a Maltese international, strangely. Our good friend Callum McManaman, who's been away and come back, the last time I remember the FA Cup winning team. Christian Sadie is highly rated. Yeah, they look like a decent team, I guess. It's like that Northampton away a few seasons ago when we went and turned them over, and they were in the league above. So maybe free hit is a bit of a cliche, but I think we could go there and win this. It just depends whether we're going to make any changes as well, because there's that big game against Tranmere on Tuesday, and I think it's fair to say it won't be the same 11 players lining up in both games, but at least we've got some players back, a good 3 or 4 players back compared to last weekend, which will be a big help.
Yeah, when the tie was announced, Steve, we were in a kind of midst of that unbeaten run, looking pretty solid. They sort of crawled past Hemel Hempstead and weren't really sort of looking forward to this particular tie. We mentioned Scott Smith a lot, obviously, and at the time I think most of our response was saying, well, we can't get off the bench at the moment. Then he goes and scores at the weekend, warmed himself up for his big return to the, I was going to call it the JJB there, can't remember what it's actually called.
He's suspended.
Oh, suspended, right?
Yeah, yes,
he's suspended. He yellow card, didn't he? Yeah, he picked the yellow card.
I think that's what they said about him when we signed him. You know, he'd probably be pretty decent enough in League Two, but he picks up yellow cards like confetti. So he's missing out. He was at the game last night, the Wigan game last night, with another ex-player whose name escapes me. So he's still clearly got an affection for the place.
I reckon he starts against Tranmere on Tuesday. I think he did quite well against Newport. Sorry for interjecting, Steve.
No, you're all right. He's okay. I think I'm quite looking forward to it. I mean, one person we haven't mentioned is he scored. Hasn't been scoring that many. They're a bit short of goals, but not as short as we are. They're a bit prone to the odd draw, but not as prone as we are. They're a bit mid-table, but not as May as we are. And they're a league above. So, and they're a league above. So, you know, we'll see how we go. And they've got Paul Mullen, who against defences, and who scored last night, and against defences, like, who's not been getting on the pitch that often, and I just think that should we have one of our sort of brain fart ball watching spells with our centre halves, we'll inevitably capitalise, because you know, in League Two, Paul Mullen is absolutely deadly.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to look forward to playing to us. There's no doubt about that.
So I think we have to. I just think we have to play. If we play the best we can and they have an off day, we're quite capable of turning them over. But yeah, we'll see. If you gave me that or Tranmere, it'd be a difficult one. But I'd probably I suppose the sense is probably Tranmere, but I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Not with a potential big tie.
There's a romance in that. Yeah, let's stuff Wigan and mess up against Tranmere. And then everybody will still be sat debating whether or not Andy Wing should be, it'll be an endless churn of will we or won't we, and are we really good enough? And we'll get to the third round, and spend the rest of the league season in an existential fog. So, I'll probably take that.
That's enough for me. Just on Ryan Lowe, I'm always intrigued, like, what is that type of Scouse gene that makes him look like that? There's a certain type of person from Liverpool who's just got that kind of same haircut with that little fringe, like a kind of Steven Gerrard thing, and a little forehead, that kind of scowl. It's like...
It's the sort of out-course peak.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I said I can't wait. I'm not really thinking about the football, to be honest. I'm just using this as an opportunity to switch off from thinking about that, and just looking forward to the day. He was so kind as well to send us some pubs, and this has been reiterated by everybody I spoke to from Wigan, just to get yourself, if you're not going on the trust buses and stopping at Chorley before, around Wigan Central, you've got the Arches underneath the train station. There's some great kind of real ale type places like the Beer Hanger. There's a craft place called the Brewery Project as well. They're all in around that area. A bit further down the road, you've got the Tap and Barrel. And also you've got the Swan near Wigan Central, which is a bit more traditional. You mentioned that.
I've had my eye on that for years. I'm really pleased. I'm able to try the Swan and Railway. Sorry. No,
we're ready to get amongst it. So, and just as we said, like we did the article for the Northern Soul thing and Wigan, the connection there for me musically has always been there. Verve are one of my favourite bands as well. So yeah, I'm getting really, really romantic about this one and looking forward to it. So yeah, let's just hear from the soccer line just before we kind of close out.
07 442, yeah. 39 60 50 is the Giving Beans soccer line.
Massive congratulations to everyone. This is Andy McMenemy from Stockport, sometime Beans contributor, full-time Beans enjoyer. Such a buzz to find out from Fraser and the rest of you while I was doing my kitchen cleaning up yesterday. Such a buzz to see all the videos you're posting and all the news and all the people you're speaking to. I don't know how much of it's going to make it onto the pod, but there's some good stuff. It's just, I'll say it again, it's such a buzz to see something to do with Barra, something to do with the soccer, just getting such a high profile accolade, and it's such a credit to everyone, but to you guys, Jonny, Chris, Fraser, Dave, Steve, everyone involved. It's lifted up what was something already quite good, but in the past, and it's lifted up to the next level. And I'm just beyond buzzing. I need to find another word, but well done everyone. Enjoy, and see you all soon.
Yeah, nice one, Andy. Always a family affair with Given Beans as well. We had Jonny on the show last week. Phil, obviously one of the founding fathers of the fanzine way back when. All sent in the messages in, really pleased about the news that came from Monday. So yeah, and it's all for them. It's for every contributor, everybody who's bought the fanzine, listened to the podcast. You know, that's really what makes it what it is, and means that we get to keep doing it, because people are listening and contributing and buying. So it would happen if that wasn't the case. So yeah, big shout out to everyone for that. Just wrapping up then, in any other business, there was an announcement, Steve, this week, 1901 Hospitality. Seems to be a bit of a marketing promotion around that. I think people think we're about to sign Andy Cook or something. It turns out we're going to have a new fancy slapdash hospitality suite. So is it cans of Carlin and roast dinner baguettes out and wine and duck foie gras in?
I suppose I have to give them some credit, because it's certainly been the forum isn't always that entertaining, but the speculation was probably one of the best threads we've had in years. Basically, I don't know if they all sat down on the Monday and decided, like, everybody's a bit fed up, we're going to put out something really cryptic that's got absolutely, and see if we can wind everybody up, and it certainly succeeded in that. I suppose. Whether or not, there's a few in a bit of a grump now. They've realised it's not Andy Cook or an American investor, but it's one of the hospitality rooms has been refurbished, and actually it's a Carling tap. I hear. So one of the main complaints about hospitality sometimes is you can't get a beer. So it's kind of, I think the idea is to have a midway between people that like a bit of exclusivity and a sit in a lounge type thing, but can't be bothered with the whole hospitality. So that you pay a little bit more and you get, I think you get a snack and you get an access to a different bar. So it's not a bad idea. It's sort of extending the offer in the middle. And it'll be it's nice that they are trying. I mean, you know, obviously we're quite keen with the 125 ourselves. And, yeah, it's nice. They've got some ideas and they're trying to do stuff. So fair play. Whether it needed Jason Walker looking moody and talking about identity, I'm not sure. Well, that was quite amusing, to say the least. And of course, Jason's still playing, but I don't know how he's getting on at Kendall, but, and I give everybody that can't ever think that anybody ever leaves Barrow, you know, it's like Hotel California. And, you know, because all those people were out in force. Scott Quigley got a mention again, so that's good. And we were quite enjoying.
It was a full house on the forum drinking game this week. Yeah,
it was a forum full house, and I'm very excited about the name that Dave made up for the American investor. So I'm very excited. I'm going to write something about that, or Dave, or somebody, because Chuck Bud Light is just such a great name that Dave suggested. So the Chronicles of Chuck Bud Light will be coming to you soon for American investment. But yeah, it's we painted a room black and gold basically in the corporate. It's very exciting.
Well, let's hear from our favourite YouTuber, our favourite food hospitality reviewer. Actually, this is a recording we got of him on a Monday night.
Just a message to the people of Barrow Hospitality. I want to reiterate, amazing value for money. Everyone in the members of staff was lovely. The only negative were the carrots. Everyone else was great. Great club, great fans. We'll come back. I promise.
Yeah, the reason we're not applying again is because Puck's had a hold of his testicles at that point. So I can't really, you know, so obviously we can't apply again because they're bad.
Yeah. He was a good sport, to be fair.
Good lad. He was, bless him.
You could see the colour drain out of his face when he saw that we were listed for Fanzine of the Year. So we had to grab him.
Yeah, a quick one, guys. If you are on the buses, I'm shamelessly taking it hopefully as an opportunity to talk about Cup day outs and listen to best memories and things to do with Barrow 125, and hopefully record some of it while we're there. And surely, partly to keep me away from the beer that I'm still off, but also just to get the sort of cup atmosphere going. So if I approach you with a camera, it's not anything dodgy. I just want you to talk about the soccer. All right.
Good stuff. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Remember, everyone, the fanzine is on sale. You can buy it online. I'm not sure if we're going to have it at Wigan on Saturday. We'll try and figure out some logistics around that, see if we can sell outside the ground. But you can pick one up online and get it delivered to your door by good old Royal Mail. So, Steve, Fraser, thanks very much for tonight. I'll see you both on Saturday. Up for the cup. Let's go, Barry.
On.
Blue birds.
Can't move round here from an open town.